Hey guys, Alex here, ajnashville.com, here with another great podcast on at least a beautiful day to be alive. You can't hum. That's the thing.
I said,
So I have a guest here, as you can tell, Miss Candace Thornton. Candace is with
Black Lion Realty in Nashville, Tennessee.
Black Lions.
Yes,
so
sir.
great company to work for, right?
I think so.
I think so as well. So I want to thank you for taking your time out of your day to come here to join us. You know, obviously real estate, that wasn't your first job, was it?
It was not.
Okay, so we're going to just jump right into this. So we're going to talk about some of the struggles and things that Candace has went through as a new real estate agent. You've been doing this for a while now, but
A little while, yes, sir.
everybody kind of hits those things in the beginning where, you know, the growing pains and things like that. So what did you do prior to real estate?
Prior to real estate, I spent 12 years satisfying the community's need for Sonic Drive-In, one customer at a time.
Is that an official ad?
That was actually, so true story, when I was in CLI and real estate school, everybody stood up and they were there to say what they did. Everybody had these phenomenal jobs. Everybody was a musician. Everybody was great. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've just been a car hop for 12 years. How am I going to spruce this up? So...
Well, and it takes a lot. So, you know, here's the thing. Dealing with the public's not easy.
No.
I was a server. My mom was a server her whole life. You know, it's something that you got to deal with different personalities. You and I talked about this just right before the show, the different weather and how it affects people, the rain versus snow versus sunshine, and also reading people. You know, you walk up to a car, and I think in some cases you can tell by the look on that person's face whether they're going to be nice or not.
Absolutely.
And I think that trickles into our business and what it is that we do here as far as, you know, growing and being able to read people and work with people and understand their patterns. You know, you're providing them with something phenomenal. You're providing them with their portion of the American dream, which I think is huge. So what got you into real estate? You know, I know you said that you were a car hop. You did it for 12 years. That's a long time.
It was a long time, and it was wonderful, and I loved almost every single second of it. I learned so much from it. I learned a lot about myself and my abilities and what I was capable of in dealing with people and how I could persevere and how I could take that and put it on a different platform in real estate.
Right. And the big thing is this. You work for Black Lion.
Yes.
And I don't personally know Jeff. Like, him and I aren't buddies, like, hey, let's go fishing together or anything like that. But I know Jeff only brings in top people.
I'll co-sign for Jeff.
People.
Jeff is a good guy. We
He
have
is.
a great team. I'm surrounded by some phenomenal people.
And he's got a beautiful dog. I thought his dog was a Weimaraner.
He loves that. His other child.
Right, his silver dog.
Don't tell his kids he has a dog because, that's
I'm sure
his
they
guy.
already know.
Yeah.
There's pictures of just the dog up on the wall.
Exactly.
Yeah, so no, but I know he only brings in people that fit, you know, people that are there that push the envelope and raise the bar and bring something different into real estate.
How did you know that?
Because I know everything.
I mean, seriously, that's his spill. That's his thing.
Well, I didn't know that was his thing, but I could just tell by the way he
really.
operates
There's
and by
a certain
the people.
caliber of person that he wants to have.
Well, and that's the thing is, you know, you can read that on the surface. And when I deal with as many agents, and I work with a lot of great agents, don't get me wrong, but you can see people that are genuinely there to help, to serve, you know. And I think through prior conversation with you and I is that's kind of what gave you an edge in this business. And that's some of the skills that you utilize from being a car hop, getting into real estate, you know. How do you feel about that? Would that stand true? Do you think that, you know, you utilize some of the skills you learned as a car hop to relate to the real estate field?
Oh, absolutely. And it wasn't just what I learned as a car hop. It's what I learned from people while being a car hop.
Right.
It wasn't that car hopping taught me anything spectacular. It's just dealing with those people 12 years. And you'd realize, you know, everybody's struggle, they're related. I mean, you can relate to people based on your struggle. And if you have a solution, you can provide that. So in Sonic, for example, if there was an issue, I could resolve it. In real estate, I mean, there's different problem. I'm here to solve it.
Right.
I'm here to, you know, comfort you and educate you and advocate for you and take you to that next level. What is it that you need? Let me get that for you.
Right.
Let me do it with ease and make you feel good about it.
Well, see,
that's what I like to do.
You brought me back. So I'm an 80s baby.
Okay.
And you said something about if there's a problem, I'll solve it.
Check out the
there you go. You caught on. So that Vanilla Ice, you know, that instantly you were like, you know, if there's a problem, I'll solve it. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. If there's a lyric to everything. I've got a lyric to every. Yeah.
There is.
We could do this.
So working with people, you know, and the nice thing is in your industry is you get to choose the type of people you work with. Now, I know you have a passion
True.
with educating, helping people grow, particularly first-time home buyers.
I do love first-time home buyers.
And you are super passionate about it, which is awesome to see because everybody has to have a niche. Everybody that I feel like is successful, is it niche or niche? I hear it pronounced both ways.
That's a really good question.
Niche kind of drives me crazy when people say that because I'm like, you're trying to sound like super French or something. I don't even know if it's a French word, but anyways.
But is that the correct pronunciation? And if it is, do you want to continue to say it incorrectly or do you want to learn how to do it right?
I like to say niche.
I prefer to be corrected. So if somebody knows how to correctly pronounce.
I don't know that you're going to have anyone that knows for
Niche.
sure. Like, I need to know, we need to consult the dictionary about this one
Fair
to
enough.
figure it out. But, the biggest thing is just getting out there and being able to help people, educate people, the first-time home buyer, understanding what your niche is. That's important because that allows you to target in and focus. And target's a bad word to use, but that allows you to really focus in on the type of people you want to work with.
Because those are the people that I can relate to. I have my own experience as a first-time home buyer. I know, how helpless I felt and how grateful I was for the service that was provided for me, and I just like to give that back.
Yeah, and that's great. So now you have an awesome hashtag. And
Yes.
now you're not an 80s baby too, are you?
I am.
You better
88.
stop clapping your hands.
I know, sorry. I'm breaking all the rules.
You have an awesome hashtag. Tell me what the hashtag is. I can't say because I
Your
have to get you.
homegirl.
Your homegirl. So, and growing up, especially being an 80s baby, you look at your homegirl and you're like, oh, that's my homegirl. That's my girl. That's my best friend, the person I grew up with. But as we grow older, it's kind of formed a different meaning, at least in the way that you express it.
Absolutely. It's a play on words, especially when it comes into real estate, because I don't look at people as clients. I'd look at them as my friends. I mean, if
Right.
I can't call you a friend at the end of the day, then why would I care to work with you? If I care about you as a friend,
Out come
then I'm
the
going to
hands.
work harder. I know. I'm going to keep then I can work harder for you. I'm going to be
Right.
more vested. So if, I have a personal relationship with you and I can call you my friend, I can call you my homie, I'm your homegirl.
Yep.
That's what we're going to do. Like, I'm going to find you a home. Need a
Right.
house? I'm your girl.
I'm your homegirl. Yeah.
Yep.
No, and that's perfect. It's a perfect play on words. And you're absolutely right. Through doing mortgages, and we do more mortgages in a month, than most real estate agents will do in a month simply because volume is kind of what we have to do anyways from a mortgage standpoint. That being said, I still enjoy building the relationships. I still enjoy going to closing and seeing the people smiling and having a good time and talking to them after the closing and following up with them and, hey, 2-year anniversary, how's everything going? Things like that. And I know that resonates loudly with you. But what I'm curious to is how did that name come about? Because surely you weren't sitting there in bed one day and you're like, boom, you're homegirl. That's me.
No, there was a lot of brainstorming that went into it, and I bounced around several different ideas and consulted some friends. And one day I wanted something pithy. I wanted something that was going to stand out, that wasn't, cheesy.
Yeah.
I mean, cheesy to a degree if it's going to catch your attention.
Not if you're an 80s baby.
I don't
It's
want to
not
be
cheesy.
slimy. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I didn't want to be cliche. So I was sitting with a friend one day and he was like, "Hey, what about your homegirl?" I was like, "That's it.
Yeah,
That's
right,
the
right.
one."
Well, and the
gonna roll
person,
with that.
the person you came up with that, that thought with, it's a person I respect in the industry. He's doing great things in the industry,
Mm-hmm.
and I think one of the things that we talked about is he does so well because he's himself.
Absolutely.
And I think that there's been a message projected by maybe people just in different industries as a whole, not just real estate, mortgages, car sales, all these different industries where people try to be someone they're not. And my homegirl, I guess you would have a group of people that look at it and be like, oh, I'm not going to use her because that just sounds ghetto.
That's fine. You're not for me then.
Exactly. And we're not, like we talked about earlier, you can't satisfy everybody. You can't be there for everybody, and you're not going to make everybody happy.
Right.
So the fact that you've taken the time and you've tuned in on that, and that is your message. That's your homegirl. That's something that, I see the hashtags everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It works well for you, and you attract the people that you want to work with. So hats off to you for identifying your niche, and most of all, identifying your brand and the clients that you want to work with. That's a huge
Absolutely.
accomplishment. Like I feel like that's the most basic thing that needs to be understood in the industry as a whole, be it on the mortgage side or real estate side, is identifying who you want to work with.
Absolutely.
Like, I enjoy working with veterans. I can work with anybody. I can do USDA, FHA, first-time home buyers, conventional, last-time home buyers, I can do all of it. But I like working with vets, and so that's something that I totally get that. And like I said, hats off to you for it. Now, not every great story comes without struggle.
Oh, yeah.
So you've had your struggles throughout the industry, and we just so happen to have plenty of time for you to talk about them. So tell me some of the things, some of the things that I guess I want to focus on more the things that would make other people quit, the things that show your will, the things that show that you're willing to put in the work, even though you may hit a speed bumper in Nashville, a pothole in the road.
Yeah. The 440 of real estate.
Right. So yeah, tell us what your 440 look like. What are some of the big things? And you don't have to get too in depth, just share with what you're willing to share.
Initially, it was naysayers. People who say, oh, that's a really hard industry to get in. I was in real estate once and it lasted about a year. It takes a lot of money to get started. Do you have that? I mean, I know you're a single mom with 2 kids.
Right.
Are you going to be able to do that? It's going to take a lot of time. How are you going to manage all of that? And,
right.
and sometimes you don't even get paid for a long time. Are you sure that you're prepared for that financially? Just a lot of naysayers, and I had to just let that go.
Mm-hmm.
I had to let it go.
Naysayers are the biggest things. If you take a person that starts their own business, we all use Facebook. That's kind of in our wheelhouse of things that we use. And the thing is you can literally see night and day difference. You can see somebody that posts and says, hey, I just got promoted to lead mechanic at, Boeing or whatever. And people are like, oh, congrats. That's huge. Hey, Boeing's a great company. You're going to work there for a long time. You'll get great retirement, great this, great that. And then you have the other person that's like, hey, I just started a company. It's called Boeing. And people are like, oh, man, you don't want to go in business for yourself. Are you sure you want to do that? You should do something else. Benefits, Boeing, the name doesn't fit. And so you have a lot of naysayers. Mm-hmm. And the ones that you see that stand through it, that push through the crowd, are the people that can put the earmuffs on, so to speak, and continue to charge forward. Mm-hmm. For me, it's a passion thing.
Yeah.
I want to charge forward and be like, hey, remember that time you told me I couldn't?
Exactly.
Boom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were right. There were financial struggles. You're right. Juggling my kids and real estate, it has been a challenge. But guess what? You couldn't do it, and
yes.
I figured out how to make it happen.
Exactly. And that's huge. Financial struggles. We talk about an industry that's it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. And the thing is you have to prepare yourself to be in a position to where you can weather through the downs. Mm-hmm. The fact of the matter is most of us experience downs because of lack of work. Mm-hmm. So we get in a position where we're like, you know what? I just made X amount of dollars this month. I'm good. Bills are paid. Kids are paid for it. Well, I don't know if you ever pay for kids.
Phase.
Exactly. And so you kick off your shoes and you're like, all right. And then you get to a point where you're like, oh, shit, it's time to go back to work.
Yeah. Wait, no closings next month?
Right,
Ooh,
right.
Yeah.
And so we see those patterns. And one thing that I see you do is I see you consistently letting people know what it is that you do. You consistently work towards educating people on buying their home, and I see that, and I follow a lot of different real estate people online. I have a lot of real estate partners I work with, but that's one of the most important common features that you see with people is they keep pushing. There's never a break. You never kick your heels off, so to speak. Mm-hmm. You may sit down, you may take a short break, but you never take your shoes off.
Right.
And that's obviously, I'm saying that from it's just an analogy. I'm not saying literally, because if you never took your shoes off, you'd have nasty feet, and that'd be gross.
Look, it's a judgment-free zone,
Alex. Right, exactly. Yeah, that anytime you're in my office, the whole office is a judgment-free zone, because trust me, a lot of people can judge me on things I've done.
Yeah.
So you've had naysayers, you've had people that have kind of kicked you down. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Moving forward, what are those naysayers saying? Are they still like, see, told you? Or are they like, wow, you know what? You had more heart than I thought you did.
Yeah. Just when somebody does something you didn't expect them to do, mm-hmm. or it's their limiting belief, not mine, just
right.
because you believe it. So I surpass your expectations.
Right.
And it shows. And a lot of them will, say, oh, I'm so proud of you. I knew you had it in you. I knew you had it in you. You could do it. If anybody could do it, it was you. Mm-hmm. Really? You weren't saying that
exactly
back then.
Right.
But, I still take that. I appreciate every bit of encouragement. And, for somebody to see that and acknowledge it, and,
mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't see the progress because it's every day for me.
Right.
But for somebody with an outside perspective, they can look and say, wow, look at what you've done. Look at what you've managed to accomplish. It's like, yeah, maybe I have.
That's how I progressively gained weight, actually, is because I looked in the mirror. I'm like, I'm not getting fat, And then I look at these 2 pictures. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. So how do your children take it? I mean, it's got to be something. Do your kids feel you're at open houses on Sundays and you're marketing during the week and you're doing all this stuff and you've got to balance children. You're a single mom. You got a lot on your plate. How does that impact them? I mean, it's surely the flexibility of being in real estate gives you a lot of...
Absolutely. I have the flexibility to come and go as I need to.
Yeah.
But there are times when it's like, hey, guys, hop in the backseat of the car, put your spaghetti in a bowl. We got to go show a couple houses.
Right.
That's actually happened before.
Nothing wrong with that.
And then, open houses on Sundays. Like, I don't like to do open houses alone because you're a sitting duck and,
Right.
crazy stuff happens out there. So, I will bring my kids with me if need be and dress them up. And, potential buyers walk in the door. I'm like, these are my assistants.
Yeah. They're here to make money.
Exactly.
Please tip the help.
They come with. But, I mean, now they're intrigued. My daughter is 12, and she's like, how much does it cost to buy a house?
Yeah.
And she's like, I want to get a commercial space so that I can work on my business. Do you have access to those? I'm like,
Yep.
what? You're 12. I wasn't even thinking about real estate when I was 12.
But
so it's had
they
a positive impact as well.
Yeah, I was going to say they experience that. They see that. They see the hustle. They see somebody that's willing to do what it takes in order to make it. And, I think that's huge. I used to go to work with my mom. My mom was a waitress, and she was a bartender. And I was the guy
My
that
mom was a bartender.
She would bartend, and I'd be back playing foosball, like hustling people for money. I'm like, come on, you want to play? I'm like
using
9
a
years
little
old.
sprayer to make your drinks out of like orange cranberry juice with like a
Yeah, I remember those days, but it taught me something. It taught me how to work with people, how to communicate. I get butterflies in my stomach when I speak to a lot of people as it is.
Not you.
No, nobody would ever think that. Most people are like, no way. I'm
Yeah,
like,
right.
no, I'm human too. Trust me, it helps me. I'm in the same position. So I do want to take a moment to actually give a shout out to one of our sponsors. You probably know the man, House on the Rock Home Inspection, Dave Ganatra and his team. They do amazing work, and I know that you've seen their work throughout the years, and it's a company that I'm very proud that reaches out to help us and do the things that they do for us. So if you have a home inspection that needs to be done, if you're in a position where you're unsure about the property that you're purchasing, please reach out to House on the Rock Home Inspection. Dave and his team will treat you right. Anyways, back to the show.
Gosh, get a home inspection.
I know, I can't stress that enough.
I mean, seriously, and not just to satisfy your curiosity about the house, but I mean, it's a negotiating tool.
It's peace of mind.
Yeah.
It's peace of mind and saying, you know what? I know that in 7 years that roof's going to have to be replaced, but I'm okay with that because I can start saving money. But what I am going to do, like you said, negotiate. I'm going to say, hey, that roof needs to be replaced. It's $10,000. Meet me down the road.
Hello.
$5,000.
Exactly.
So, and that's huge.
And it is. You find out what your client's needs are. Hey, do you need more money in your pocket? Cool. Let's talk about how we're going to negotiate those inspections. Or, hey, you don't want to pay a lot in the long run? Oh, we'll negotiate the price of the house. Let's look at that inspection report.
Well, and the key is having a great negotiator.
Absolutely.
In the real estate field, you really have to have somebody that's going to stand up, stand tall, and push forward for you. You need to be the best. You need to be in the best interest of the agent. You need to be the top priority as a client. And so when you're on your search to look for a great agent, you have to consider those things. One of the big things that I see, and you and I have had conversation back and forth of this, and that's when you see a post and people are like, just sold a home under contract in 2 hours. And I sit there from a lending standpoint, I'm like, I wonder how many other contracts could have came in that maybe it would have been a higher offer, or may it be better terms or something like that. And I don't understand the real estate side. I stay in my lane. My lane's in the far right. I'm the money man. That's what I do. Mm-hmm. So I don't get that portion of it. But you have a difference of opinion.
It really does depend on the client's needs. You know, do they need to sell fast? Do they have time to sit and wait around for the best offer?
Right.
It depends on the market. It depends on their need. And ultimately, ultimately, it's up to them. It's not you to decide what the best dollar amount is.
True.
That's up to them.
True, and that's huge. And I think you and I both at least saw the same direction on one thing, and it's did the market bring it, or did you serve a purpose for the client? Which,
Absolutely.
if you served a purpose for a client, then so be it.
Right.
Congratulations.
Right.
If you just happen to stumble upon a bunch of deals that fell in your lap and you chose one, you're gonna have a hard time with that changing of the guard.
Exactly. I mean, how did you contribute? That's the thing. Don't say I sold a house in 2 hours. Say what you did to contribute to it selling in 2 hours. And how long had it been on the market prior to? Now, if you had a house that sat on the market for 160 days
mm-hmm.
and suddenly, you take it over, you have that listing and you sell it in 2 hours, then
That's
you
huge.
should be proud.
Yeah. And you're talking from a situation on my end. I've got millions upon millions of dollars worth of clients that can't find a home. We still have a shortage to some degree
Absolutely.
in desirable areas in the Nashville area. So, that's a big thing. So, getting low on time here. I do have a couple other quick questions I want to ask. Plans for the future. We're seeing a change in the guard, so to speak, as far as what the market's doing, inventory staying on the market longer. What are your plans? You're going to be in real estate, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going anywhere. My plans are to strengthen the relationships that I have with the clients that I'm going to have and the clients that I've had in the past. I feel like this entire industry is about relationships, and if you don't nurture those and you don't genuinely care about the people that are doing business with you, they're not going to stick around. They're going to go somewhere else.
Agree. That's, a lot of people use this loose analogy, and that's everybody knows who their doctor is. Everybody knows who their lawyer is, but nobody knows who their mortgage or their real estate person is.
Absolutely.
It's our job to stay top of mind, to stay in front of them, to follow up like you would a friend. You don't talk to all your friends every single day, but
That's
you may
why they're
talk
my
to
homies.
a friend. Exactly.
That's why I'm your
That's why they're
homegirl.
your
Like those are
homegirl.
my friends. I really do care about. Hey, did you find that bathtub you wanted, or how does the paint look in the house?
Right.
Did you ever get rid of whatever? I mean, how are the neighbors?
Yeah.
I'm coming to the housewarming party.
Yep. Exactly. So, Candace, I want to thank you so much for taking
Thank
time
you
out of
for
your
having
day.
me.
I know, you drove you drove a long ways to come
I
here.
did the things I do.
Right. And I appreciate that. I do want to know, let's say I'm a first-time home buyer. I'm looking to buy a home, or I'm just a person looking to buy or sell a home in the greater Nashville area. How do I reach out to you?
Oh my gosh, please reach out to me. Send me an email. Find me on Facebook. My email address is ct.tnproperties@gmail.com. You can find my hashtag YourHomeGirl. Find me on Facebook, Instagram. I'm out there.
She's
Come holler
out
at me.
there. Yep. So, and you know what? That's a super easy email address. That's one thing that I get into with people. I'm like, make it easy. Don't do Candace is your homegirl in Nashville, Tennessee. I'llBuyYourHouse.com, because nobody will remember that. So I really appreciate the fact that you got that easy email address to remember. So
I got the Alex seal of approval.
right,
But
that's
about
a
time.
tough one to get.
It's about time.
Don't get too comfortable with it. So
Tough love.
we may edit that part out.
You all right, but you ain't all that.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly. So, but no, I want to thank everybody for their time. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. Once again, thanks, Candace, for being on the show. We appreciate you.